Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's probably a bit more serious note and everything. Just want to talk about grieving, panic attacks, anxiety. I don't want to be negative or nothing, but it's just like if anybody's going through like some of these problems and you listen to this, it might help you, it might help you. That's all I want to do it for, is if I can help one person. So what it was, yeah. I think after my dad passed away, I'd work the next day, and it's probably the hardest day of my life. I shouldn't have gone in probably, but it's 2 days before Christmas. I had to stay on it, like got sort kids' Christmas out and everything. So, and it's like so tough. It's so tough to get through that day, and I just felt like crying all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, just wanted to break down and everything, and got through the day, got home, killed up in a ball, and like did Christmas. And then a couple of weeks after, I just thought, yeah, I'm back on it, sound like, if you know what I mean. Anyway, about 2 months later, I started like getting these like pressure headaches, really, really weird, like where I'll be forgetting stuff. Like I'd start off in the morning, I'll be fine, right? And like say about dinner time, I feel this pressure building up on me all around my head. It's like feels like it's squashing your brain in like this, yeah, squashing it, proper squashing, and you can't think, and you don't know your name, or you don't know how to do simple tasks, and you get confused and everything. And then you get home and then that like you just want it to stop, and you just curl up in a ball, and then you wake up in the morning and you think it's gone, and it's still there. So this went on for about 2-3 days, and then I remember going shopping at Aldi. I went shopping at Aldi, and I come back shopping from Aldi, and I couldn't literally put the milk in the fridge. My brain wouldn't let me. I was like really struggling. My brain wouldn't. I wanted to put it in the fridge, and I couldn't. And I kept putting it in the cupboard. I think so. I had to sit down for about 5 minutes. Right, I'm gonna go put that milk in the fridge, and I managed to do it. And a few days later, I found out that I put the sugar in the saucepan, and I couldn't. It's really hard to explain. Anyway, the next day after that, I was at work, and I had this massive pain in my chest. Massive pain in my chest. And I was like, my legs and arms started shaking, and I just felt like crying, and like I was trembling all over, shaking. My brain weren't right, thinking right. I was like this, all giddy and all this, proper trembling. It's like I was like, what's going on? I'm having an heart attack. Then all of a sudden, I felt this blood go all around the sides of my skull, all over the back, all over the front of my head, all raised up like this. And I'm thinking, something's popped. Like I think anyway, I got taken to hospital. As I was going to hospital, I thought, oh, I'm gonna die. Like, you know what I mean? But I was really chilled about it. You know what I mean? I was really relaxed about it, and I thought, oh, this is it. Uh, anyway, so I thought I was having an heart attack, and I got to the hospital, and I was like, oh, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think I'm having a heart attack, and all this shit. And he's like, just calm down. Just calm down. Like, did a few tests. You're having a panic attack. I said, what? Panic attack? He says, yeah, yeah. Anyway, they all sorted me out and all that, yeah. And but my head still weren't right with the forgetting stuff and stuff like that. So the next day, I didn't go to work because I just wanted to get myself right, and like the pressure on my brain, I couldn't think. So I thought I'd go for a little walk. So I went for a walk, and I could feel this pressure building up on my head. I only walked like about 400 meters. Pressure building up on my head, and I started panicking then, thinking, oh no, I'm going to forget where I live, and I'm going to forget my name, and I'm going to forget all this, because feel this pressure building up on my head again. So I thought I best get back home before it builds up too much and I don't know where I am or how to get home. So I got back home, and I kept my brain. I just curled up in a ball, and it went for about. So I was basically lied on. I couldn't watch TV, nothing like that. Couldn't concentrate on watching TV or nothing like that. Anyway, about 2 days later, uh, it's still happening. My head was just confused and pressure and everything like that. It's still absolutely confused and everything. And for no apparent reason, right, I was thinking I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. I'm thinking, because it's gone on for like 5-6 days in total before the panic attack and after the panic attack. And I thought, I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. And like, got some sort of dementia brain tumor in my head that's not letting me think right. You know what I mean? And also, I just burst out crying. And all of a sudden, I felt this weight lifted off my shoulders, off my head, and it all disappeared off my head. And it's just like, I just had this mental clarity. I had this massive euphoria, and I just couldn't stop crying. I was crying for about 20, 30 minutes, and I was like, what's just happened to me? I just felt this clearness, clarity, and all this. I was like, what? And I felt like running and everything. I felt like better, where I felt like I was never going to be better again. Anyway, so I went to the doctors. Back, what they're like. It's about 2 weeks later, and everything. So they want to see me in that, and I sent them all this, and they saying it's because this is 3 months after my dad died. They said it's because I never grieved. I held it in, and that's why. That's what they reckon it could have been like, and that's why I was having all this, all this stuff built up in me. So I just like, if it helps somebody, just you got to grieve, you got to do what you got to do. And then like about a week later, I was still having these sort of anxiety panic attacks, but my head was clear, and well, I probably had them. I don't think I've had one for a couple of years after I've had panic attacks on that, but it's not to that extent. But one thing that I think has helped me not have panic attacks is not drinking caffeine. Caffeine's probably a good thing to try, and alcohol and sugar. So basically, if you don't want panic attacks or anxiety, you got to be boring. You can't have sugar, you can't have alcohol, you can't have caffeine. And to be fair, I do have too much sugar, but I am trying to cut down my sugar as well. And like, I think, like, I remember I took the kids to school, and this was like probably about 18 months, 2 years ago now. And this was probably 2 years after my dad has died. I still having these panic attacks. And I remember I was walking and my head just going buzzing and all that, but it weren't as bad. I felt pain in my chest, but it weren't as bad as that first one. And the ambulance come out and everything. My blood pressure was 210 over 120. That's so that's how So when you do get these panic attacks, your blood pressure goes through the roof and everything. But yeah, it's probably been about 12 months since, maybe 18 months since I've last had a panic attack, and I put that down to no alcohol, no caffeine, and I can't say it's down to sugar, but I think sugar helps you anyway for all your health problems anyway. But I'm not saying I'm cured or nothing, but if anybody's watching this and they're suffering with panic attacks, that's my advice. If you're grieving or anything, grieve. If you need to, if you're drinking alcohol and you're having panic attacks, it's not easy to quit alcohol. because some people are dependent on it. They can't just do that. But caffeine, if you can quit caffeine, caffeine's like a tough one because like you don't realise you're addicted to caffeine, and you give it up, and then that you get that really bad strong headache for a couple of days after you give up caffeine. But and you crave for it. Do you know what I mean? You crave for that it and everything. But that's my advice. If this video gets out there and helps out one person, that's all I'm trying to do. And besides that, you got to be positive in life. Woo! Right, like, subscribe, comment.